and this is my presentation of Season 1, Episode 12 of the Andy Griffith Show, which is titled Stranger in Town. This episode, like others, is filmed in a small fictional town called Mayberry, which is in North Carolina. A lot of the things that they say in the show, like britches and possum soup and these things like this, lets you know that this is taking place in a southern part of the United States. Um, for a show that's filmed in the 60s, this picture quality on these sitcoms is very nice in my opinion. It's in black and white, of course, but the picture quality is nice and crisp. Um, and also, um, in this show, the thing that gets me going and prepared and watching the show is the whistling and the finger snapping as the show initially comes on. Um, for this particular episode of the Andy Griffith Show, which is titled again "Stranger in Town." Um, the guy's name is Ed Sawyer. He comes into the small town of Mayberry where Barney is in a barbershop getting edged up by his friend Floyd. Barney has a little bit of a situation with Floyd because he thinks that Floyd is edging his sideburns up too high. So the whole time that goes on for a bit, and then a bus pulls up where Ed gets off and goes into the barbershop, and just kind of makes his presence known that he's in the town of Mayberry. And as he starts talking to everybody, he's calling them by name, and they're looking at him like, "Really? How do you know my name? We know nothing about you." So that was a strange thing for him to do initially going into the town. So shortly thereafter, he leaves and goes over to the hotel to get him a room. And, he knows the gentleman's name's there too, and requests a particular room inside the hotel, which is another peculiar thing to do when you initially go into a town. So, but let me back up just a second there. He makes a stop outside and talks to what's her name, Miss Butley, and her baby carriage is outside with her kids inside of, which is first of all a no-no. No one would ever do that, but for this case here, he stops and he's talking to the kids while she is just coming exiting to the facility that she was in there, and he knew the kids' names even, and how he knew all the people that lived in the town of Mayberry's names is from the hometown newspaper, where his friend, where he was in the army with, had the paper, and Ed Sawyer used to read over the paper all the time. And he read it so much and he liked it so much that he really thought that he was from there, and he would tell people that he was from there. So he goes to Mayberry to purchase a gas station that was for sale, and to make this place his home. But what he doesn't realize is all the information that he has gathered from the paper isn't going to go over so well with the townspeople. He may know them, but they don't know him, and that's going to make them feel uneasy. But he felt that knowing them would, give him a little bit of a more of a position to be there. But it really wasn't the case until they found out how he knew so much about them. But as the show goes on, he explains to Andy how he got all this information about the town and the people therein. And at first, the guy didn't want to sell him the gas station because he didn't really know a lot about him. And besides, Ed Sawyer was being a little unusual towards everybody. And Barney, of course, he got to make his his little just spin on the thing by saying, "Spicken Sie Deutsch," and I found that to be very funny because he was just trying to play his part and was trying to get some information about Ed Sawyer, but Ed Sawyer really didn't understand that. You know what I mean? His position and his character was already pre-made from the papers that he was reading about the town. And in the meantime, while he was trying to buy this gas station, he had this attraction for a young lady called Lucy Matthews. She was very attractive, but she wanted no part of him because she didn't know him. He felt like he knew her through the papers, but he had never physically met her until she came into the courthouse where he had just finished talking to Andy there, and Andy had to really hold him back because Ed was really trying to get right up on her, but Andy, the town sheriff, he probably would have had to go ahead and restrain him because you could just see pretty much the hearts jumping out of his eyes for Lucy Matthews again. I mean, she was a really attractive young lady. But the town people didn't take so well to him initially until Andy went outside the jail there and explained to the whole congregation that was, about to gang up on Ed Sawyer for knowing so much about them, and they didn't really understand how he knew all this stuff. But when Andy went out to explain it all to them, they broke down and welcomed him in a little bit better than what they initially did, and I found that to be very, very sweet of them. I mean, even Lucy invited him to call her later on that evening, and I was like, wow, really, the guy offered for him to come over and so that he can sell him the gas station, and and I think that from that position there, Ed Sawyer really had a better take on Mayberry, because initially they wasn't really wanting him to stay there. They was pretty much trying to run him out of there, you know. So, but with that being said, too, when he goes into this hotel to get his room, everything went okay with that, in my opinion. Other than he was just rubbing the guy the wrong way, Jason the wrong way. But when Barney goes in, of course there has to be some funny situation going on. He wants to go up and have a talk with the guy, so he reaches in the mailbox to try to get some information on him, and a rat trap is there, and it clamps down on his finger. So that was so funny to me. And then in comes Andy, and Andy is asking them questions about why is his hand in the mailbox, and Barney, silly him, he reaches in another mailbox and gets his other hand clamped with the mousetrap. And I screamed when I saw that, because I just found it so hilarious, because I've actually had my fingers clamped with a mousetrap before, and when he's just saying off, 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 that it just put me back into that situation where, hey, I know your pain. And that's my presentation on the Andy Griffith Show, titled Stranger in Town. For the 60s again, this is a very funny show, and I love to watch it. I mean, I love this class, and thank you so much for reminding me and introducing me to the Andy Griffith Show. It really was a delight. Thank you so much again.